It is Sunday morning, and you know what that means. It's time for the Sick Podcast with Andy McNamara. Yeah, we got Browns, Bears, frigid Chicago, epically cold temperatures. What does that mean from a betting standpoint, from a fantasy football standpoint, and of course, from a Browns success standpoint? Also, fantasy football playoffs. I know you got questions because we got hashtag Ask Andy coming up. Jump in the chat, get those questions in, and of course, we're going to build the parlay party, the ultimate NFL betting ticket. Let's get to the show.
Turn up your volume. Because you're about to listen to The Sick Podcast with Andy McNamara, the sickest Cleveland Browns podcast.
Chubb runs, he's to the 10, 15, he's to the 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50. There goes Chubb, he's to the 30, 20, 10, 5, touchdown, Shabba Lubba Hub.
It's gonna be sick.
Welcome, everybody. Happy Sunday. It is time for Bears and Browns. And this could be an ugly game. What we're looking for today, of course, Shedeur Sanders' progression and Myles Garrett's march towards the sack record. Single season sack record at 20, just 3 shy against the Chicago Bears team, by the way, that has cut down their sack total significantly, just 20 on the year. And they love to run that ball. So we'll go over that. Of course, fantasy football playoff questions. Get them in. Jump in the chat. Hello. Hey, we got Griffin here, baby. Griff, first one in, brother. How are you? Jump on in. Get those fantasy football questions in. Use hashtag Ask Andy, of course. And we'll be building that betting ticket out. Got an interesting Shedeur Sanders parlay that we'll get to in a little bit. But first, make sure you are clicking subscribe. Notifications on. Share the link too. Love having people in the chat. Love jumping in. Having a good time in here. So share that link. Make sure you're following us on X at SickPodBrowns, at AndyMC81, and Instagram and TikTok at AndyMC Sports. That's where you'll also find the post-game reaction videos that I pop up. And really from now standpoint, folks, Browns are 3-10. You know, do I want to win? I like the feeling of a win. I like the Victory Monday mug. I like the joy of some sort of victory, right? Especially that this is lining up to be the second year in a row of just a 3-win season. Just the doggedness that is to be a Browns fan, of just the grind. So do I want to win? Yeah. But big picture, when it comes to April and the NFL draft, that win isn't going to be so satisfying at that point when it costs us draft position. Of course, all the questions, who's going to be picking the players? Will there be a new head coach, new GM? Who knows, right? But for this game, this is going to be very interesting because there's 2 things I want to see. I want to see Shedeur Sanders progress. That doesn't mean more yards coming off of offensive rookie of the week. Fantastic performance in the loss. Doesn't need to be thrown for all that, but is he making mistakes against one of the most prominent and takeaway hungry secondaries in the NFL in the Bears? Like, they're making picks left, right, and center. Interestingly enough, their pass rush is next to nothing outside of Montez Sweat. Right? So that secondary is doing a lot of the work. They're pushing. They want you to throw. Now, in these temperatures, you know, what is that going to look like for the Browns? So I want to see Shedeur Sanders be making smart decisions, something to come out and we can say, okay, that's another step forward, another piece to be able to say, hold on, maybe we don't need to trade everything to go get a quarterback. Maybe Shedeur can be the guy. Maybe it's the Browns who finally fell ass backwards into a lucky quarterback situation. Maybe. So we got to see that from Shedeur Sanders. And of course, again, Myles Garrett. We want that sack record broken, man. And here's the tricky part. Folks, you got to do it in 16 games, like I said, right? You got to do it in 16. You got to be able to officially, you don't want the TJ Watt asterisk he tied it in 17. No. We want the legit record. So you got today against Chicago, and you can get to Caleb Williams. We'll get to that in a sec. Chicago, then Buffalo, then Pittsburgh. Okay? You got to do it in those games. And the thing is, every team knows that he's coming. Nobody wants to be the team to give up that all-time record, right? So you got to figure out a way. And how do you figure out that way? It is to have to make the Chicago Bears throw the football. Ben Johnson, remember, Detroit offensive coordinator, has his own new kind of 1-2 punch like a Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery that he had in Detroit. He's doing that in Chicago. right? T-Wolf in the house. Rick, how's it going, buddy? Let's go. No problem, buddy. Rick missed the last couple weeks. No worries, baby. Sunday course. Hope the course is going well, my friend. Yeah, Griff saying breaking it against Pittsburgh would be cool. Oh, yeah, to have TJ Watt, and hope TJ Watt health-wise is better. Had the lung thing, right? Hope he's real life-wise doing good. But how great, because that rivalry, TJ Watt having to either sit there and play and watch Myles Garrett break the record. Ooh, that'd be good. That's cutting it close. I kind of want it before that. But the thing is, again, Ben Johnson runs the ball. The Bears run the ball more than just about any team in the league, if not the most. So they'll run it. They're not going to give up on it. And if you're running the ball, you don't have a chance to sack the quarterback. If you don't have a lead, the quarterback doesn't have to throw. And we saw last week, the Browns got way too excited, focused on trying to get Myles to break the record, and they let Tony Pollard run all over him. Well, I'll tell you, the DeAndre Swift and Kyle Montague combo, way better than Tony Pollard. So you got to be able to, and Myles said this earlier in the week too, and Jim Schwartz too. This Jim Schwartz defense is too good to get punked twice. And they've held great running backs. Look at Derrick Henry. When they focus, they can stop the run. Can they do that against Chicago? Because you're going to have to give opportunities to throw that ball. Now, fantasy football-wise, again, the temperatures, folks, oh my gosh, it's like with the wind chill, it's like 1 degree Fahrenheit, which is, 32 Fahrenheit is 0 there. It's showing 9 degrees Fahrenheit. Sunny, partly cloudy, but the wind chill, 20 to 22 mile per hour winds. Bottom line, if we're looking fantasy football-wise, I'd be staying clear of playing Shedeur Sanders and Caleb Williams in your fantasy football playoffs. And you're probably not anyway for Shedeur, but if you're 2 QB league, whatever, probably shying away from that. Heavy running back day. Dylan Sampson is out for the Browns. All day Quinshon Judkins. All day. And Harold Fannin Jr. Because, especially in PPR, Shedeur Sanders he's his guy. Right? He's his guy. I'd be shying away from the receivers in this case. You have to spread it around too often anyway. And I think you might be able to play both running backs, Swift and Montague. The rest is going to be tricky, right? It's going to be a tricky situation. Some Browns notes here, then we'll get to your fantasy football questions, of course, and hashtag Ask Andy. Remember, you get them in the chat. Jump in. And if you have any tips, who do you like playing? Or best bets of the day? Jump in. Let me know that. So, looking mostly sunny, 11 degrees in Chicago today. Winds up to 22 miles per hour. Wind chill temperature of 1 degree. And going to be one of the coldest games of the year. The injuries from the Browns, oh my. This ain't good. And for a Chicago Bears team that doesn't have much of a pass rush, they might be able to get to it anyway. So Ethan Posich, Achilles, out for the year. As we know, Luke Whippler in at center. This is an audition for him. Browns want him out of Ohio State to be able to take over that job. Much cheaper rate. Right guard Wyatt Teller, calf, out again. Replaced by Tevin Jenkins. Okay. Right tackle, Jack Conklin, out again with concussion. Just unreliable. I know you can't injure whatever, but man, this dude, he's never in. And when he's in, he's never in for long. And you got KT Leviston, who absolutely stinks at pass protection. Run a bit better. So again, that's going to be a focus. Joel Bitonio, knee and back is questionable. Oh, Zach Zentner, the Michigan guy backup, he's out with a back injury. So the Browns signed off the street as just in case Garrett Dellinger, a rookie who the Ravens waived in August. He's joining Jeremiah Byers, also a rookie, signed off the Cardinals practice squad. Not great. That's on the offensive line. Defensive line, Malik Collins out for the year. Aiden Huntington had quad injury, out. Mason Graham rib is questionable, practice only on Friday. I bet he plays. Shelby Harris, Michael Hall are in. Maurice Hurst, Browns brought back as the backup. Denzel Ward is out. Calf injury. David Njoku out with the knee. We saw him hurt last week. And Dylan Sampson, calf in hand, also out. War of attrition, cold. I think Chicago wins this game. But again, fantasy-wise, we got to be tracking that. And that's going to be – the good thing is the Browns' line when it comes to the running game is better than in pass protection. So just, Shedeur, don't be giving up big plays. And for the special teams, apparently the Chicago Bears special teams also stinks. So hopefully that's not too much of an issue for them. What do you got here, Rick? Judkins should have a good day on the ground. I agree, brother. I agree. Yeah, Griff, that's not 11 Celsius. It's going to be cold. That's right. That's 11 Fahrenheit. And Fahrenheit 32.0 is freezing, right? That is going to be ice cold, man. That's going to be dirty. That's why I think it's going to be low. The over-under set 38.5. Would you guys take the under? I would take the under in that. 38.5. I'm feeling, 17, 14 type of deal. I think it's going to be a ground and pound low scoring. Chicago favored by 7.5. I might take the Browns to cover that. I don't know if I put it in the parlay party, but that's a little dicey. Again, outside of the running backs, I would stay kind of away from this one. So let me know your Browns thoughts there. Gonna be interesting though. I want to see how this game develops. There's not this usual stress. The win doesn't matter. We're watching too those freaking Jacksonville Jaguars, who we have their first round pick. Those guys just keep winning, 9-4, playing the Jets. Now for draft positioning, here's what we also have to be watching for Browns, and then we'll get to fantasy football. We want the Jets to win. They're currently tied with Cleveland at 3-10. We want the Jets to win. We want the Raiders to somehow upset the Eagles. Philly 12.5-point favorites. I think the Raiders are just going to be absolutely smashed today from an angry Eagles team. But we want the Raiders to be able to win and get to 3, because otherwise they need a quarterback and they're up. We want the Giants to beat the Commanders. Giants 2-11, Commanders 3-10. Marcus Mariota playing. I like him for a fantasy football option as well. Jackson Dart, of course, too. So there are some situations where we want to see bad teams win. The Titans against the 49ers pull off an upset. Come on. Get some momentum going and move the Browns up there, because that Jags pick right now, that first round pick, that extra one in the trade from last year, that's going to be a pick in the 20s. Which, let's say for fun, Shedeur Sanders, end of the year, you're like, man, you know what? I think he could be the guy. I want to see full off season. Okay. And we say, okay, go with Shedeur. Personally, I would still move as much as I could to get Fernando Mendoza. He is the man. I think that as a franchise QB, head to toe, inside and out, that guy's the real deal. But let's say you don't. Then top pick, wherever you end up, maybe it's a iffy year for tackle. So maybe you go get Carnell Tate. Need a wide receiver. Ohio State wide receiver. And then you come back with that second pick and get the best offensive lineman, because you need like 3 to 4 new ones. And you do that and move from there. Maybe that's the angle, right? But it's a little bit of a watch, right? Again, and on the other side, if Shedeur Sanders is it's kind of murky and you want to get a quarterback, you got the Saints who need a quarterback at 3 wins. You got the Raiders who need a quarterback. You got the Jets that need a quarterback, and the Jets have all the ammo, all those extra picks through their fire sale to move up. Right? So you got those 3 teams that need quarterbacks along with you. Plus, you got teams like the Titans, Commanders, maybe the Falcons too. Falcons won, so they're probably out of that case. But you got those other teams that don't need a quarterback, like the Titans, who if they're above you, they're going to trade, and they're going to trade with the Jets if they want the guy, right? Lots of situations there. Okay, we're going to dive into some fantasy football talk here. What do you got, Rick? Let's see. Judkins should have a good day on the ground. I agree. How do you think Shedeur will do in this cold weather? Great question, Rick. So Shedeur said this is like the first time. So he played in Colorado, but never played in anything this cold. Carson Schlesinger as well from California. Never played in anything this cold. It was cold in Cleveland last week, and he wasn't even wearing one of those coats. So he said he's got the double sleeves on and all that. And I think he's a gamer. I think he's going to be just fine. Again, real life wise, fantasy wise, not the day to be playing quarterbacks in this game. Not the day for it. But I think he's going to be able to step up and show that in cold weather games, you don't need your quarterback necessarily to be thrown for 300 yards. You need him to not make a mistake. You need him to take advantage when it's there. And again, the Bears secondary is tough. They are aggressive. They are turnover machines. You got to avoid that. And you avoid that, you move the ball, field goals, chip a little bit, get a bit of a lead, and try to make the Bears score, throw it more. That's when you can get to Caleb Williams. right? Now he has a low completion percentage, but he pushes the ball downfield. And you're without Denzel Ward. They're going to be tested. So this is going to be a situation where he'll pop it downfield. He's got a great arm. And you're going to be watching that. Falcons don't have their pick. Oh, that's right. Went to the Rams, Griff. That's right. Yeah, you know what? Rams will be interesting in the draft. Rams have that pick, right? But the Falcons winning that game, that'll put them kind of lower end top 10, probably if they don't win anything else, right? Ish. But yeah, watch out for that. What's Rick say? Jets will sign Phil Rivers to a 4-year contract. Yes. That's the other story. Who's got the cojones to pop Phillip Rivers in their fantasy lineup? Huh? Holy man. Yeah, that's that shows. And you know what? To be honest, even if Riley Leonard of the Colts was healthy, the Notre Dame quarterback, I'd still play Phillip Rivers. Because Riley Leonard's terrible. He is Taysom Hill. He's not a good quarterback. He can run, but now he can't run because of his knee. Yeah, Phil Rivers to the Jets, that would be hilarious. We know how good they are with their quarterback situation, right? Okay, you know what? Let's pull up a few Ask Andy questions here, Shane. Let's go to it. All right, let's pop first one up here. Remember, hashtag Ask Andy on X, at SickPodBrowns, at AndyMC81, Instagram, at AndyMC Sports. And of course, drop your questions into the chat as well. Let's get to one of them here. What do we got? Oh, got Griff. Sanders or Bryce Young? Got to go Bryce Young today. Griff, got to go Bryce Young. Got to go that way. I really think so because, again, the cold for this game is going to lend itself to a run-heavy script. So, and Bryce Young, 2 out of his last 3 when healthy. I hate to admit it, but guys popped over 20 points. You know, and now they find themselves in first place, which is just wild. Just wild. Okay, let's pull up another one. We got at Thomas Sippins, PPR pick 3. Myers, Michael Wilson, Olave, Godwin, Devin Neal, or Rico Dowdle. Jacoby Myers, I'm loving that play today. Michael Wilson, I think as well with Arizona. I like that. Godwin already played, of course. So now what is the status of Kamara? Let's see here. Because Neal, you know, he hasn't blown you away when filling in, but he's been certainly serviceable. Kamara is out. So you got Devin Neal or Olave. Let me just check the health of Olave real quick here. Yeah, versus Carolina. And him and Tyler Shuck have had some nice chemistry. Dip last week against Tampa Bay. But I think that's a solid play against Carolina today. I would say Olave over Neal. Dowdle and Hubbard are very split. Olave is going to get primarily the targets there. So I think you go Olave on that one. Oh, Griff's got another one here. What is it? Booty or Dunze? Go Booty, baby. Go with your Pats. Go Booty. Again, Dunze, nice year. Great. But you got Luther Burden lurking there. You got the tight ends. You got the running backs. In a cold weather, likely low-scoring game. So Odunze could pop. He could. He could also not. How many throwing opportunities are there going to be, or is Ben Johnson going to really focus on running the ball like he often does? That's why I would say if the higher floor goes to Boutte, higher ceiling Odunze, I would play it a little bit safer and go Booty. And you might be forced yourself into a little bit of a shootout against Buffalo as well. That's going to be a fun game, by the way. I love that. Rick's got one. What do we got? Flex spot PPR. Myers or Hampton. Oh, boy. See, I liked with Hampton coming back, they got him involved. They got him the touchdown. I just want to double check his usage. Playing Kansas City. Where was he? 13 carries, a couple catches, working his way back in. Going to be more of a goal line option than, let's say, Vidal. You are in a bit of a timeshare there. Let's see. What was the other one? You said, Myers. I think Myers. I like the one touch from Jacksonville as the number one. I would say Myers on PPR. The Kansas City defense, not as daunting as we know before, but still that kind of mix with Vidal's second game back. I think either way you're going to be okay. I'm just a little skittish on Hampton at this point. So I think we go with the true number one with Myers. Let's get to another one, Shane. What do we got? We got from Goose at 2 ugly dogs, Gus 2, or whatever that says. Who should I start at flex for round 1 of the playoffs? So Evans, of course, already played. Keenan Allen, Luther Burden, Jaden Higgins, Ryan Flournoy. So Flournoy for Cowboys is someone I was tracking all week. Only playable if CeeDee Lamb doesn't play. Now, CeeDee Lamb has been cleared from concussion protocol yesterday. He is good to go. Flournoy, out. Now, if ever we see CeeDee Lamb out, we know Dak Prescott goes heavy to Ryan Flournoy, but he's not. Luther Burden falls into the same category as Odunze. Could we see him get a lot of touches? Maybe, but it's going to be a running back day, kids. It's going to be. Keenan Allen's just been on the decline. That leaves us with Jaden Higgins. Higher floor guy. I wouldn't be getting too excited. Probably low to mid-teens as the peak for Higgins. But out of that group, that's the best play. All right, let's do another one. We got at its_Brentos. Says hashtag Ask Andy. So the Evans or Ibuka one is done for Thursday. But Sanders or May. So Shedeur Sanders or Drake May. I love Shedeur. I love all the Shedeur questions coming off that 364 4-touchdown performance. But this is cold Chicago, like we talked about. And I just think this is going to be so much of a running day and look. I would much rather roll the dice with Drake May in what could be and I hope is a really fun shootout against the Buffalo Bills at 1:00. Buffalo 1.5-point favorites, by the way. That's going to be a lot of fun. And division's still up for grabs, right? Now, Patriots beat the Bills before. Does Buffalo try to send a message? Can they send a message? I think Drake May is an absolute stud. We roll with Drake May there. Let's pull up another one. We got Braden on. That one's from Instagram. Yes. Hey, fella. Question for you. Jamo. So Jameson Williams or Giante PPR's spot, flex spot. Who do you got? And here's the thing. So, I think the Eagles are going to absolutely pulverize the Raiders. Now, that being said, who are the Raiders going to be getting the ball to? Right? Kind of Giante and Bowers. So we have 2 really big games back-to-back for Jameson Williams. Now it's against the Rams. 19 targets over the last 2 games for Williams. I'm always a little hesitant because he has been at times really boom or bust, but outside of that Week 12 game, boy, since the bye, he has been money. He's been used a lot. I think we go Jameson Williams here. That's the play on that one. Again, I like the stretch, so it's a long enough stretch that I think we can have some comfort in Williams, but it still spooks me a little bit based on his up and down. We got T-Wolf. What do you got? Need 3 or 4. Need 3 or 4 needed. BTJ, so Brian Thomas Jr., Ted McMillan, Devontae Adams or Devonta Smith. Cut Devonta Smith, play the rest. Easy one for me. Well, let me hold on that. Because Brian Thomas Jr. Devonta Smith, because they have been so down. And you know what? This could be a case again where the Eagles get up early and they just, run Saquon. I think it's a get-right game. I think it's going to be a big fantasy day. I would be playing Dallas Goedert anytime touchdown. Goddard to get back right. Let me just check Brian Thomas Jr. Came back a little bit. The targets have been down. So 6-3 after injury. 87 yards, 11.7 fantasy points last week. Let me just double check right there. Who's the Devonta Smith? That's right. I was looking at this yesterday on my weekly ESPN radio hit. My buddy Josh Hennig on 97.3. Yeah, you know what? Devonta Smith have been getting enough. They've been getting 8 targets. Maybe busts one out there. All right, you know what? I'm going to shift to Devonta Smith. All right, T-Wolf, I'm going to shift to Devonta Smith. Ted McMillan, Devontae Adams, Devonta Smith, sitting Brian Thomas Jr. I think Jacoby Myers is going to continue to get the workload there. Yeah. That's tough, though. It's that last one that's got Adams and McMillan feel pretty confident in. And the Bryce Young factor. Jeez Louise, man. Attaboy. There you go. Rick says done. Let's do it, baby. No worries, buddy. That's what we're here for. You jump in the chat, right? All right. Now let me just see some fantasy up. Let's get some injury updates. Let's get some times here. Then we'll move into the parlay party. See if we win some money on a Sunday here. Just going to update. Let's see. Okay. Phillip Rivers. Update on Phillip Rivers. Oh, apparently Phillip Rivers was leading the offense. The ball was set to barely hit the ground in practice. Yay. Oh, boy. Expected to start. Oh, I'm seeing practice footage. He looks thick. Yeah, looks in good shape. Phillip Rivers. Well, we know he's not going to be mobile. I'm fading. I think it's going to be a heavy Jonathan Taylor day, by the way, in fantasy. Not that you're going to play Jonathan Taylor anyway, but boy, I would be very wary if you can go in a different direction from a Michael Pittman or an Alec Pierce. Probably would fade that. Okay, they said backup quarterback Tyson Bagent's been added to the injury report for the Bears today. Who cares? Injuries, like I said, CeeDee Lamb in. So how about this real quick? Chiefs can be eliminated from the postseason today if they lose to the Chargers, if Buffalo beats or ties the Patriots. So Buffalo wins, the Pats are out, or the Chiefs are out. Wow. If the Jags beat or tie the Jets, well, that's going to happen. Or Texans beat the Cardinals. So if the Jags beat the Jets, the Chiefs are eliminated. How wild is that? Who saw that coming? Wow. And the Panthers are 2 wins to clinch the NFC South title. That's gross. Come on, Baker. I'm telling you, Baker's left shoulder, same thing as in 2021. Not the same. I'm not putting it all on Baker. But same thing. And declined. Heading into week 15, the Giants currently hold the NFL's number 1 overall pick based on full strength of schedule and it being easier than the Raiders or Titans who are 2-11. Last time they had the number 1 overall pick was in 1965. The Giants haven't had the first overall pick since 65. Selected Tucker Fredrickson. Okay. Daniel Jones and the Colt did not have a discussion about an extension. He underwent surgery Tuesday. Packers' Josh Jacobs listed as questionable due to a knee injury, is expected to play. Emmanuel Wilson also banged up. So not an ideal situation running back wise in Packerland. Actually, Emmanuel Wilson, questionable due to an illness. Needs to see how he feels before he plays. Devontae Adams is expected to play with the hammy injury, going back to T-Wolf's question, but doesn't seem like it's a concern. Oh, Woody Marks, got to start Woody Marks. Nick Chubb, questionable, but Texans are starting to roll. Woody Marks day today, along with Quinshon Judkins. Absolute must start. Amari DeMarcado listed as questionable due to ankle injury. Another Bam Night day. Not too exciting, but Deebo Samuel questionable for Sunday due to an illness, is expected to play. Commanders running back Chris Rodriguez questionable from a groin injury. He's going to test it pregame. So keep that in mind. And oh, yeah, Mendoza. I mentioned Mendoza did win the Heisman. Gosh, I love that kid. That's the real deal. That guy's just got I love that guy. Oh, Rick's got one more fantasy one. What do you got, Rick? Got one more for you to clinch first going into the playoffs. Flex spot, Flowers or Hampton. You know what? I'm going to do due diligence. My gut's telling me Hampton. Let me just look up real quick Flowers. Because we know Lamar, they have been getting a little bit better, but as far as fantasy-wise, well, they've lost 2 in a row. And you have Zay Flowers, inconsistent, right? 11 targets, 8 catches, 124 last week. Also a run. Before that, though, kind of pedestrian. Now, you're playing Cincinnati. We know that defense isn't great. Oh, yeah. Hasn't found the end zone a lot. And by a lot, I mean he has one touchdown all year. I think you go Hampton, Rick. I think we go Hampton on that one. Yeah. Running backs, Jonathan Taylor and CMC. Now, CMC also banged up. They're going to test him out. Looks like he's going to play. Yeah, you know what? So I would put, I'd give you Hampton in the flex. I'll give you Hampton in the flex. You know what? What if you do this? Put CMC in your flex spot. Okay. Hampton in the RB2. Now, what time? Let's see. What time is San Francisco playing? Baltimore, I assume, is a 1 o'clock game. Baltimore's 1 o'clock. When's San Fran playing? 4:25. So that doesn't really help you because both are in the 1 o'clock. I was thinking, you have CMC a little later, and so you could pull him and put Flowers in if need be in that flex spot. That doesn't really matter with the timing there. Yeah. I go Hampton, brother. I go Hampton. All right. More fantasy questions. Dump them in. Great interaction today. Let's get to the parlay party. NFL betting ticket. And I got 2-parter for you. Put this up on social at AndyMC81 on X, at SickPod Browns, Instagram too, at AndyMC Sports. Shedeur Sanders special from our buddies at DraftKings. Shane, if you can pop that up. Are you tailing me in this parlay for Shedeur Sanders? I was looking at it on the DraftKings Sportsbook. I think it's pretty reasonable. So, Shedeur Sanders, 1 or more passing touchdown. Cold day, but that's not unreasonable. Shedeur Sanders, 200 plus total yards. So, passing and rushing. We've seen him run a little bit. So, he runs for 15 or something. Throws, doesn't even have to hit 200 passing yards then. Shedeur Sanders, 18 or more completions. They're throwing the ball a lot. 18 or more. If he does high completion passages, that one might be a little high. I think there's still a possibility that they do throw for that much. If we hit that, plus 292, $100 bet pays $392. Who's in? I like that one. I'm going to pop that in the DraftKings Sportsbook. So that's part 1. So jump in on that with me. Let me know you like it or if you want to pop in something else. Now, let's build our ultimate fantasy football ticket as I log back into the DraftKings Sportsbook here. Yes, I am fit to play. Thank you for asking. Let's build this sucker out. Okay. Jets and the Jags minus 1,200 straight up winners. Oh, boy. And remember, if the Jags win, the Chiefs are eliminated. That's crazy. 13.5 I don't like. Jags win. I do like. I'm going to take them. We're building a big ticket here. Cardinals, Texans. Texans by 10.5. Do I like them by 10.5 over Arizona? Arizona can kind of hang in there. That's too rich for my blood, but I'm also not comfortable taking them covering. I'm going to go with the easy money line, minus 600. Bills, Patriots. Oh, boy. 2.5 point favorites of the Bills on the road. I don't trust this game at all. Over under 49.5. What's the temperature in New England today? I assume kind of same deal, cold, but ooh, it looks like snow and right at freezing. Yeah, I'm going to stay away from that one. Chargers, Chiefs. Oh, boy. Chiefs 5.5 point favorites on the road. They got to win to even have a chance. What time do the Chiefs play? They're at 1 as well, so that they won't see the Jaguars score. 6 points. Cold in Kansas City. Ooh. Yeah, I don't like that one either. Raiders, Eagles. Eagles by all the points. Minus 11.5. Can we do both? No, we can only pick one. Let's do Eagles straight up winners. Ravens, Bengals. Bengals nothing to play for. Ravens do. In Cincinnati. Yeah, let's pick the Ravens. Road faves. Giants, Commanders. Barf. Marcus Mariota, again, fantasy football-wise, 2 QB league, are you in a pinch? I'd play Mariota. Oh, that's a dog's breakfast there. Browns, Bears, over under 38.5. Let's take the under 38.5, kids. I think that's where we're leaning. 49ers, Titans, hoping the Titans can pull up an upset. Don't think they will. The 12.5. Titans might be riding high. The money, minus 115 isn't good enough. We're going to go minus 950. We're going to a lot of favorites say Rams, Lions. Ooh, boy. This could be tasty. Over under set at 54.5. I kind of like that. I like the over. So what's that mean? You got to get 27, 30. I could see, yeah, I think the over. I think we go the over for that, minus 120. You guys got a feel on any of these two? Let me know. You guys got a bet you love? Diggs anytime touchdown, Rick says. I like that. Revenge game for Diggs. Tracy anytime TD. Yep. What do you think about the Lions-Rams game there? Rams 5.5-point home favorites. Lions kind of got to be winning. Rams got to be 2. That's why I'm thinking the points. 54.5. Panthers, Saints. Yuck. But Panthers are cruising, man. How are the Panthers only 2.5-point favorites? That seems a little weird. Minus 2.5 for the Panthers to win. So you're going to win by, I got minus 115 money or minus 150. I'll take the minus 115. And we got Packers, Broncos. Packers 1.5-point favorites in Denver. Really? Packers they just don't super impress me, man. I'm telling you. Let's see. In Denver, going to be 61, sunny. I don't know, man. Broncos undefeated at home. I think I take the plus 100. I don't think Green Bay's that good. I'll take the Broncos plus 100. Give me that one. At home? Division game, Carolina versus North Carolina. Yeah, you know what? And I agree, Rick. I think it will be. Plus, Tyler Shuck has been playing better. But minus 2.5, that's winning by a field goal. Right? So I'm going to take the Panthers minus 115 to cover 2.5. You win by a field goal. I like that. Colts, Seahawks. The Phillip Rivers. Nice story. Seahawks favored by 13.5. They are just expecting a bludgeoning of Phil Rivers. If there's a Phil Rivers anytime interception, I think you pop that in. Over under set at 41.5. Oh, Seahawks straight up winner. Vikings, Cowboys. Got to go Cowboys, right? At home, 5.5-point favorites. I'll take Cowboys straight up on the money line. Yeah. And then we got Dolphins, Steelers. Dolphins are weird, man. They looked out. Like, are they going to bring McDaniel back after this run? Like, I guess that's the Monday nighter. Pittsburgh by 3. What's the over-under there? 41.5. Ugh. Kind of gross. I don't like much about this game at all. I don't know. Do we put this on the ticket? We're at 11 legs right now. Pittsburgh's in first. They've won 1 at 7-6. Dolphins have won 4 in a row. They're due for a little comeback down, I think. Yeah. I'll take the Squealers minus 180. Well, Pittsburgh by 3 or more, minus 118. I take the Steelers at that. Minus 118. Yeah, I don't like it, but I think we're going to do it. Okay, that gives us 12-leg parlay plus 8,712. Plus 8,712 in the parlay party. $10 on that wins us $871.30. How about it? Huh? Not too bad. That's not too bad. For the parlay party. We're going to hit one of these days, folks. I'm telling you. We got to hit one of these. And you can hit big by playing on the DraftKings Sportsbook, of course, right? It's game on, man. Every day, every touchdown brings you close to a payout with DraftKings Sportsbook, official sports betting partner of the NFL. It's not just football. It's first touchdown fireworks, anytime TD rushes, live bets that ride every momentum shift. At DraftKings, every play is your next shot to win. New customers, this one's for you. You bet just $5, get $300 in bonus bets. You guys in the chat, you're not on DraftKings Sportsbook, let's go. $5, $300 in bonus bets when you use code 6sports. Okay. Plus, grab over $200 off NFL Sunday Ticket from YouTube and YouTube TV. Your season is rolling, baby. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code 6sports. That's code 6sports to get $300 in bonus bets instantly when you place your first bet of $5 or more, plus over $200 off NFL Sunday Ticket from YouTube and YouTube TV. In partnership with DraftKings, the crown is yours.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort in Kansas, fees may apply in Illinois. 21 and over. Age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. Bonus bets expire 7 days after issuance. See sportsbook.draftkings.com/promos. NFL Sunday Ticket offer for new subscribers only and auto renews until canceled. Digital games and commercial use excluded. Restrictions apply. Additional NFL Sunday Ticket terms at youtube.com/go/NFL Sunday Ticket/terms. Limited time offer.
All right, there you go, guys. Ready to rock and roll for another Sunday. Getting ready for Browns, Bears. Make sure after the game you are checking on X at SickPodBrowns, at AndyMC81, Instagram and TikTok at AndyMC Sports. Follow and get my post-game reaction there. Interested to see, does Myles Garrett get a step closer to the sack record? Does Shedeur Sanders continue to impress? How does this look with a plethora of injuries for the Browns? And of course, any fantasy football questions leading up to this game, hit me up. Hashtag Ask Andy. Subscribe. Share the show too, guys. More people in the chat. I love it. Love when you guys interact. Share the show. Subscribe. Notifications on and all that good stuff. So big thanks to all you in the chat. Producer Shane. I'm Andy McNamara. We'll see you after the game. And until then, go Browns!
And that's a wrap. Hope you don't miss us too much until next time. Follow the Sick Podcast with Andy McNamara on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Google Play, and Apple Podcasts.